Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. How you doing today? Today, excuse me, I'm doing another Gin Blossoms video. I realized I have not talked about the Gin Blossoms since I found out about you, and I'm thinking what a tragedy that is. I shouldn't do that. That's terrible of me. Anyway, we're doing Hey Jealousy, which I think is probably one of their more popular songs. It definitely was one of their more popular songs. It may have been more popular than Found Out About You. But anyway, I'm going to start rambling if I don't focus up. Let's just get into this song.
Tell me, do you think you'd be alright if I could just crash here tonight? You could see I'm no sheep for driving, and anyway I've got no place to go. Yet you know it might not be that bad. You were the best I'd ever had. If I hadn't blown the whole thing years ago, it may not be love.
Okay, let's talk about like this first verse is very interesting because I had to go back and re-look up the lyrics because I haven't heard this song in so long that when I was really like going through it. Some on one hand, there are a couple of lyrics that I got completely wrong for the longest time, which I think we've all done, and because I thought that part where he said, "Well, I'm in no shape of driving." For some reason, I thought he said, "I'm no sheep or dragon." I have no idea. Now it makes a lot more sense because I thought it always confused me. What the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, this song, it is both like a drunken plea slash drunken emotional guilt-laden confession all at the same time. Because think about it, the song starts off with him going to an ex's house, knocking on the door all drunk, basically asking, "Hey, listen, do you think it'd be alright if I just crash here? You can see I shouldn't be driving anywhere, and even if I could drive somewhere, there's no place for me to go. I pretty much probably burned all of my bridges with my terrible actions. But hey," and then while still drunk, it's like kind of on that manic kind of drunken spree. It's like, I might not be that bad. And then he's kind of like, "But you were the best. You were the best I ever had. And if I hadn't messed things up with us, then I wouldn't be here now by myself with no place to go." And it's just like basically the song is basically a drunken plea, and we're going to get deeper into this. Let's keep going.
Tomorrow we can drive around this town and let the cops chase us around. Past is gone, but something might be found to take its place. Hey, jealousy.
And basically, again, while drunk, he's ranting that. Hold on one second, just because I don't always get to do this, because sometimes I forget. Because I want to make sure that I'm saying this correctly. So hold on. I should have planned this out better. I did not because, well, whatever. Because he says in the chorus, because he's not the best at enunciating when he sings. So he says, "Tomorrow we can drive around this town and let the cop chase us around. The past is gone, but something might be found to take its place." Basically, he's still making that drunken plea. It's like, hey, if I'm still here tomorrow when I'm sober, hopefully, we can drive around this town with the cops. We can go around this town, get crazy, be wild. The past is, what do you say? The past is gone. Pretty much like, oh, what's done is done. We can't change that. But something might be found to take it. But basically, the past is gone. We can't change the past. But maybe we can find something new to take its place. Basically, maybe we can start over. Again, mind you, he is drunk while saying this. So it's just kind of blathering all of his emotions out in this kind of sporadic spree. And also begging, trying in a way to convince her to let him stay at her house for at least the night.
Hey, jealousy. Hey, jealousy. Hey, jealousy. You can trust me not to think and not to sleep around.
Hold on. Now, a lot of you might know this, some of you might not. In the line where he just opened up where he says, "You can trust me not to think and not to sleep around," the actual original lyric was, "You can trust me not to drink and not to sleep around." But basically how I could put it, the rest of the band was like, all of our songs involve some kind of drinking or alcoholism. We're kind of bored with it. Can we please just change this one line to something else? So it got changed to think instead of drink, which when you put in, you can trust not to think and not to sleep around. It doesn't make any sense. Trust you not to think. Why would you not want to think? It doesn't make much sense. But when you throw in, you can trust me not to drink and not to sleep around, and then going from there, it makes more sense. So let's rewind it, but with that context in mind.
You can trust me not to think and not to sleep around. And if you don't expect too much from me, you might not be let down. 'Cause all I really wants to be with you, feeling like I matter too. If I hadn't blown the whole thing years ago, I might be here with you.
First and foremost, I don't know what it is that he did years ago, but if it's that bad, then damn, you shouldn't even be at her doorstep right now. Secondly, when you think about it in that context, he's basically still making this emotional drunken plea. You can trust me not to drink and not to sleep around. If you don't expect too much from me, you might not be let down. Like, pretty much saying, like, listen, I promise I'll change. I'll be better. I won't cheat on you anymore, apparently. I won't be drunk. But it's just not set the standards like too high. If you don't expect a whole lot, then you won't be so disappointed. Maybe there was a problem. You were expecting a lot from me when you probably really shouldn't have. But the truth is, like, I really just, like, he basically just misses her and really wants to be with her, because probably the only time he ever felt like he was important or mattered to anybody was when he was with her, and it made him feel like someone who was being seen and noticed. And he really kind of wants that feeling back. So you would kind of think, is it even really about her, or is it about the feeling? Because sometimes people don't even, it's not even about the person, but about the way being with that person made you feel. So which one are you really after, the person or the way you felt? That's a very important distinction, and that's kind of, I think, where his mind is. He's more missing the feeling, because again, he says, if I hadn't blown things, again, by probably getting drunk and cheating all the time, now that I think about it, there's probably a very good reason why they're not together anymore, then he wouldn't, then he'd still be here with her, because he probably was the first person to show him that kind of love, but he wasn't the kind of person who could accept it, and had such self-loathing and self-hatred and depression that he just constantly did stupid things and probably even lashed out at her, because sometimes people will do that. If you really love them, they will lash out at you because they feel like they're not deserving of it, and they'll punish you for loving them, which is kind of like what led them probably to breaking up. But anyway, let's keep going.
Tomorrow we can drive around this town and let the cops chase us around. Past us going something might be found to take its place. Hey, jealousy. Tomorrow we can drive around this town and let the cops chase us around. Past us going something might be found to take its place. Hey, jealousy. Hey, jealousy. Hey, jealousy.
Well, I think it's really interesting here, and this isn't like necessarily about the lyrics, but about the tone of the song, because the song just kind of had this kind of like real like mid-tempo driving force to it, and then at this part in the bridge when it kind of breaks down, I think that's also like the settling of the emotion of the song, like the settling of the height of his own emotion as well, as he kind of lulls himself into the final verse, which is a really interesting choice for the final verse, but we'll get into that. How did I say that? Anyway.
Hey, jealousy. Well, tell me, do you think it'd be alright if I could just crash here tonight? You can see I'm no shape for driving, and anyway, I've got no place to go. And you know it might not be that bad. You were the best I'd ever had. If I hadn't blown the whole thing years ago, I may not be in love tomorrow.
See, what's really interesting about the third verse is just the first verse repeated over again, but I think it's very at least in my opinion, a very specific choice because it's kind of like, again, him just kind of reiterating at the point, like, listen, I've said all these things, but in all reality, I just need a place to stay. And it might not be so bad me being here. We used to have fun together. It was a good time. Yeah, it was crazy, but, you know, we can maybe start over. It's just him really trying to reiterate his point and make that desperate plea. But let's wrap this song up. It's a really good song. You should go listen to it without my voice, but good song.
You can drive around this town and let the cops chase us around. Past discover something might be found to take its place. Hey, jealousy. Hey, jealousy. Listen to my heart. Well, there's only one thing I couldn't start.
Okay, that was Jim Blossom's Hey Jealousy, which I think is a really good song. Like, the Jim Blossoms are always good at, like, telling story through emotion. I think that's one of their talents as a band is being able to tell story through emotion. But also making a song that's not like a complete drag tonally at the same time. It's still fun to listen to, but it really touches on some deep, sometimes dark feeling sensations in the mind, you know? Anyway, let me know what you think. Do you agree, disagree? Yeah. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. And until next time, I'll talk to you later. Peace.